Well, again, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here watching these videos, and I hope they're a blessing to you, and I hope that they motivate you to want to be a missionary. And so share the videos and hit a like button down there below if you're learning anything that might help missions or might be something that would be valuable in your missions conference or wherever. I thought I'd tell you another story. If you live on the mission field and you really get involved with the people, you're very likely going to eat some foods you're not used to eating. I've already told you about, I think, the first time I saw a chicken foot. I mean, I had my spoon in that soup and I pulled up a chicken foot and I thought to myself, because I can be so dumb sometimes, I thought to myself, I said, that poor lady doesn't know she dropped a chicken foot in the soup. And I dropped it back in the bowl and I was like, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. And then I saw the guy beside me eating a chicken foot. I told you that story. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird. Well, several times, I'd be invited somewhere and they'd want me to eat sheep head stew. Yeah, it's what you're thinking. It's a sheep head. I mean, just there, bone and all, teeth showing, tongue out. Ugh. I never got used to it. Never liked it. Worst of all, they'd usually split the head. You get half a head, somebody else get the other half of the head, and you get an eyeball. An eyeball. I said an eyeball. I said an eyeball. I mean, you could see it was an eyeball. And so I'm eating the soup. Soup tastes good. The meat tastes good. It's just on the bone. It's not that big a deal. And I look and I see that eyeball and I think to myself, God in heaven, what in the world? And I'm watching around and see what's going on. When that eyeball popped up in my spoon, I did the same thing. I dropped it again right down into the bowl. I'm not going to eat that eyeball. If you eat it, it's kind of like popping a grape in your mouth. Boy, that was weird. So I'm going to tell you what I did. I used to pray all the time, God, I'll put it down if you'll keep it down. I also had another rule. I'll eat anything they give me to eat. But as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to find me a good cold Coke and drink it and wash it all down. I know that's probably not culturally proper, but they never knew I did that. So I was eating and that eyeball popped up. And sometimes if no one was looking, I'd hide the eyeball under the head. And that way when I turned my bowl back in, the bone was laying there and the eyeball was up under there. But a couple of times I didn't really have a choice. It was kind of like you eat the eyeball or everybody's going to know you're not eating the eyeball. And so here's what I did. Except for one time, I swallowed it whole. And I want you to know, can you imagine that eyeball? It looked at all of my innards all the way through till it came out. I didn't bite it. I didn't chew it. I just popped it in the back of my throat like you would a pill, and I swallowed that thing whole. Now, what in the world? I mean, I've eaten rat in the jungle. I've eaten eyeballs and I've eaten chicken feet. I once asked a Peruvian, I said, do y'all really like chicken feet that well? And he said, good night, no. He said, look, I said, would you rather have a chicken foot or a breast, chicken breast? He said, of course we'd rather have the breast. We can't afford the breast. That's what he told me. He said, we can't afford the breast. He said, and if things keep going as bad as they are, we'll be eating the feathers soon. So I just want you to know that the people are just like you. And they need to be loved, and they need to be accepted, and they need to be believed in. They need to be recognized as God's special creation, needing the gospel preached to them. When you reject the food, you reject the culture. When you reject the culture, you're rejecting the people. When you reject the people, they will reject Jesus because of you. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap. Just don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. It's not that big a deal. Really, we eat different things because of our culture. I remember telling them one time that we ate turnip greens. And a couple of them looked at me and said, turnip greens? You talking about the leaves that grow on top of the turnip? I said, yeah. I said, I don't like them, but Americans eat them. And they said, that's weird. We throw that away. Not everybody does, but they did. You realize we eat things based on our culture and what we like. And so to reject the food is to reject our culture. Don't do that. Love those people right where they are, the way they are, so that you can reach them with the gospel of Jesus Christ.